14 News Now investigation found some people on Hampton Roads are buying homes only to find out they're not the legal owner. In some cases, those homes are in such disrepair that the city is choosing to demolish them.
Dan Kennedy investigates a possible scam that could leave its victims broke and homeless.
They say beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
What is up, guys? It is Joey here. I have a very unique property today. This is Newport News, Virginia.
But a 13 News Now investigation uncovered an ugly truth about some rundown homes for sale in Hampton Roads.
Yeah, this is broken.
A man linked to several Virginia-based LLCs uses social media like YouTube and Craigslist to sell homes like this, often in dire disrepair.
I don't ask questions. I just do my job and I sell them for you. Owner financing, no credit check.
We obtained one of the agreement for deed contracts between the LLC 72019 and one of its buyers. It came with a down payment of several $1,000s, with the rest financed at more than 15% interest. That's almost 3 times the interest a bank would charge today. Buyers get to move into the homes even though the deed remains in the LLC's name until all monthly payments are made, something that could take decades.
Ethically, it's wrong. Why are you going to sell something to somebody and say this is yours and legally it's not theirs? It's deceiving them.
Raina Howell talked to us on behalf of her client who signed one of those contracts.
All he thought he was doing was buying a home.
Exactly.
Living the American dream.
That's what we want. We want our own home and hopefully our own business and continue on bettering our lives.
Her client started fixing up the home, and that caught the attention of the city's Codes Compliance Division, which found the property to be unsafe. An inspector condemned the home and put it on the demolition list. They wrote in an email to the buyer that any more work would require a structural engineer's report and permits. But Howell says her client can't get the proper permits because the home isn't in his name. Property records show the owner is actually Kilu LLC.
Yeah, that's usually how these work out because the sellers know that somebody moves in, they spend time and resources to fix it up. Eventually, they're going to default and you're going to evict them, and then you're going to have a better property than you started with.
We took the contract to attorney Eric Dunn, who specializes in property law. He calls sales like this scams, predatory, and possibly illegal.
I'm confident in saying that almost all these deals you're going to find illegal things. It's just that, what's actually illegal about it will, differ a little bit from situation.
Just a few $1,000s in cosmetics and this house is yours.
Take this home on 24th Street in Newport News, which city inspectors found with code violations and work being done without permits. The buyer emailed the city saying, "As far as my husband and I know, we are the owners of this house. How do we find out if this is true? I mean, we are tired of being used." Our investigation found it's not true. Property records show the owner is LLC 72019. A judge may soon decide who is legally responsible for the repairs and upkeep on these homes. The LLC 72019 was cited to criminal court next month for failing to upkeep one home. We wanted to hear from the sellers, so we called and texted.
So just send me a text and I'll get back to you within the hour.
At least for us, no responses within the hour when we started asking questions like, what happens to the buyer and their down payment if they get evicted for missing payments?
It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. People might not end up losing all this money.
For Raina Howell, she's worried the people who could least afford it may find themselves out of the homes they thought they owned. Dan Kennedy, 13 News Now.
Attorneys we spoke to urge anyone entering into a similar contract to consult with legal help before signing on the dotted line.
On 29th Street in Newport News, it's hard to miss the neighborhood eyesore. Broken windows, melted siding, a charred porch, and now a bright green sign deeming the house unsafe.
I'm tired of looking at it. I'm tired of looking at it. It should be something better.
Neighbors have spent more than a year staring down this home nearly destroyed by fire last February.
There is major fire damage to this house. but nothing I've not sold before.
The major fire damage didn't stop Virginia Beach-based LLC 72019 from buying the home and using social media to try and flip it.
I've sold houses 10 times as bad before, so.
Our investigation found the people linked to the 72019 LLC have spent the last few years using social media to advertise and sell hundreds of homes in Hampton Roads. The buyers signed an agreement for deed, but we found the fine print raises red flags. This line in the contract states buyers must maintain the current condition or better, adding sellers may inspect the home and take back immediate possession if it fails to meet their standards. Yet another document we obtained states the seller has done no inspections and has no knowledge of the condition of the house.
These are almost always predatory.
Property law attorney Eric Dunn says sales like this often prey on low-income cash buyers who may be desperate to get a roof over their heads.
It sort of furthers this idea that you're the homeowner, you're buying this property, you're going to own it. When you look through the totality of the transaction, the seller is not letting this property go.
One buyer, too afraid to talk on camera, tells me they've been threatened with eviction after missing monthly payments during the pandemic. They say they've poured thousands of dollars into their home, and now they're afraid they could lose it all. And their story may not be unique.
The market is hot right now, so get this one while it lasts.
The YouTube page advertising these homes has posted more than 400 videos since 2018. But even after these homes sell, the deed in many cases remains in the seller's name, not the buyer's. We counted more than a dozen sold homes in Newport News, Norfolk, and Suffolk, where the deed still lists 72019 as the title holder, including the fire-damaged home on 29th Street.
And I know people in this neighborhood is tired of seeing this burnt house sitting up here without nothing done to it, nothing done to it at all.
Newport News Codes Compliance found that home in such disrepair that they plan to have it demolished. A supposed buyer emailed the city writing, "I recently purchased the fire-damaged house." But the inspector responded that actually the title still belongs to the seller, the 72019 LLC, adding the demolition process will proceed.
We are owner financing this house. That means no credit checks, no background checks, simply a small down payment and you are in.
We reached out to the man posting these YouTube videos, but we never got a response to our direct questions. In June, he'll have to answer to a judge. Codes Compliance cited the YouTube seller and the 72019 LLC to court for failing to maintain one of those homes. Dan Kennedy, 13 News Now.
An update now to our investigation into people buying homes only to find out they don't actually own them. New tonight, we hear from the seller after he appeared before a judge on charges related to one of those homes. He previously ignored our request for a sit-down interview. Dan Kennedy updates this 13 News Now investigation, broke and homeless.
Joey, we just wanted to get your opinion on what the judge had to say.
Not today.
Joey Chinese left the Newport News courtroom with orders from a judge and questions from us.
Yeah, do you want to talk before September?
I guess we'll talk. I'll set up an appointment to talk with you guys, okay?
Chinese sells homes under the LLC 72019 to people in Hampton Roads. They're often in dire disrepair. And in the case of this house on 24th Street in Newport News, in violation of city codes. City officials cited him to court for failing to maintain that property through the proper permits. The judge had to decide who is responsible for the repairs, the seller or the tenants. Our investigation last month revealed some people buying these homes began fixing them up thinking they were the legal owners. But we found in many cases it's actually the LLC. And the judge sided with the findings of our investigation, telling Chinese in court, quote, "The occupant is not the owner. Your responsibility still lies with the city as title holder."
Anything you want to say to people who bought these homes who think they're the owner, but it turns out the judge said you are in fact the owner?
They have equitable interest to purchase the property, sir.
In what, 30 years' time?
Or when they prepay, when they get their credit correct, sir.
One of the contracts had an interest rate of close to 17%. I mean, that's a little higher than you get from a normal bank today, yeah?
I guess it's about the same as a hard money loan, right?
Under oath, Chinisi told the judge, quote, "I am the owner with 72019 LLC. We are the title holder until the loan is paid off." It's a change of tune from last month when, after our first story aired, this post on his Facebook page read, "If you purchase a home from me or any investor I work with, you are the legal homeowner." Tonight, that's now a claim disputed on the record by a judge.
Chinisi is due in court in September to update the judge on obtaining the proper permits for the repairs to that home on 24th Street, but he also faces a second criminal charge regarding disrepairs on another property. The judge will address that in September as well. Dan Kennedy, 13 News Now.